Hey guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to the first episode of Testimonies with Vivian. Our very first guest is the one and only, my husband, Jimmy Lopez.
Hey, what up, everyone?
Okay, so Jimmy's gonna share his testimony. Um, I think his testimony is super powerful because a lot of times you could see people go cold turkey when it comes to like drugs and their old lifestyle. But for him, that just was not the case. And he got set free, he got delivered, but his was more of a process than just going cold turkey like the way I did. So I think it'll be a good story. So,
Yep. So I'm just gonna start off really quick with the beat. Hey, yeah.
stop.
This is my testimony, about to give it. Yeah, you already know I'm about to bust a flow. Just kidding.
So, our first guest today is Jimmy Lopez, and his story is a lot like prodigal son. He backslid for a bit, and then with just the substance abuse that he had in his life, he wasn't able to go cold turkey. Like you hear a lot of times, people go cold turkey. I did. I just stopped one day and I never did it again. His story is a little bit different, so I think it'll be powerful for him to share it because people need to hear those stories too. Because not everyone just goes cold turkey, and he still got delivered and set free. So how about you start? I don't know, maybe when you're a kid, and then share about Layla too.
Yeah. So, let me see. My name's Jimmy.
Are you
Okay.
gonna be able to do this today? Because it's hot now.
Okay. All right, got this. All right, everyone. So, just really quick, I just want to just share my testimony and just yeah, my childhood was it was cool. I have a lot of brothers and sisters. I can't name it off the top of my head right now because there's a lot going on. um but I mean, growing up, like I said, my dad was in and out of jail. He was there. He's a great guy. I love my dad. He's always been a big influence in my life, but it's just the biggest thing was he was in and out of jail, or like I said, he was just not around sometimes. But he's a great father to me growing up. I do remember, like I said, when I was younger, just how funny he is. Even to this day, he's like super funny. Um, and yeah, and then my mom, she did a great job at raising us. She had a lot of kids, and yeah, I mean, she did the best she could, and she really she really was a good example of a woman who was knew how to carry herself. Very independent. Learned a lot from her as far as like why she would tell us not to do things, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people out there, they have people in their lives telling them, "Hey, don't do this, don't do that." And like parents, like as a parent, it's your job to like equip your kids to know what's out there and what to expect. So she always did that. She was always great at telling us, "Don't do this, don't do that." But I always took it growing up, from my childhood to my teenage years. That turned into like a lot of rebellion, like with her trying to like control what I would do. Like she would never let us go out with our friends. She would like, yeah, she'll be like, "Be back by the when the sun comes down." And I'm like, after practice, the sun's already down, and she's like, "Oh, be home," And I just grew up in that type of home with my mom. I wasn't always with her. I was sometimes with my grandma, or just going around with my brothers and sisters. Like we weren't all together growing up. So I mean, yeah, but my teenage years is kind of where my journey started with God. Um, yeah, I started going to Freedom, the church we go to now. When I think I was like 12. We started going, and that was a start of like a new beginning for me, because as a teenager, like I didn't have much going for me like at the time, and all I can remember was I lived like far from the church, and I didn't always have a ride to get there, but I would do whatever I could to go out and go to the church. I legit would take the bus for like 3 hours just to be at church, and I caught my fire for God. I was running after God, and yeah, that's where it started. When I was like 12, and I started running after God. But in that through that though too, like, I mean, as a teenager, I like started smoking weed like at 11. So I was into weed, like, not like heavily, but like when I went to Freedom, my first time when I was younger, that still followed me. So being at Freedom, one thing that I love is, just because you're going through something, they're not gonna judge you for it. I wasn't stoned for it. Like, they didn't say, "Oh, look at that guy. Like, he smokes weed." Like, no, I went through my journey with it, and but like I said, during that time, during my teenage years, I was very involved with the church, and I really ran after God with everything. But at the same time, that's where a lot of bad influence started coming into my life, and yeah, just the way I handled it. At the end of the day, it wasn't them. I made my decision to make those choices, and I was yeah, I used to go to I was going to church for the right reasons, but as a teenager, being in the house of God, one thing that every teenager needs is discipleship, because through discipleship, that's where we're able to understand as far as like how we should be living at a young age. Because one thing that, as a young person that I carried, like, we carried a lot of pride. Like, nah, 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 I got it. Like, I know what I'm doing, or I got it together. Like, nah, don't worry, I'll figure it out. Like, and that pride would come in, and yeah, I mean, I would just make my own decisions. Like, leaders in my life would be like, no, don't do this. Like, kind of like my mom. Like, she would tell me, like, don't do this. And we all have people in our life who do that. Like, oh, don't do that. Like, it's not, like, you're gonna mess your life up. And to be honest, like I said, some of us, we have to go through those things in order for us to learn from it. And that's what I had to do. I had to go through it. Not saying God put it on me to go through what I went through, but I know through my journey, I learned a whole lot, and it made me the person I am now. But yeah, I mean, in my teenage years was pretty cool.
You're like saying your story without saying it. So we need you to say it without sugarcoating. So you need to like just say it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I didn't know. Yeah. um
So when he was a teenager, basically he was on fire for God, but then he got a little wild.
oh yeah.
And he had a kid at 17, which is Layla. She's amazing little girl. And basically, is that what took you out of the church, or what took you out of the church?
No, like I said, like, yeah, Layla, like, I had Layla at it. Layla. Sorry, Layla. I had Layla at a young age, and I was a young teenage father, and but like I said, that's not what took me out. Really, like I said, I took myself out. I really, like, I really examined my life, and I was like, okay, I have a kid. I need to get a job. I need to get a career. That's when things started to click. Because before that, like I said, I didn't want to go to college. I didn't look forward to college, at least. Like, that's what's pushed on us in schools and stuff. Like, you have to go to college to be successful. But I never really believed in that. I mean, school is cool, but I don't remember much from school for a reason. um, but like I said, from that, when I had Layla, well, I didn't have Layla. When Layla came in my when Layla came into my life, that's when things like the reality started to kick in. And for me, what took me out was, so like, I was around 17, like I said, serving God for a while now. He did a lot in my life. I learned a lot, but at 17, I was like, okay, I got to get it together. So I had the decision to, yeah, I went to I signed up for the Air Force. I lost a bunch of weight. I lost like 30 pounds just to be in the Air Force. I did everything I could. I met all the requirements. I passed the ASVAB. I swore in. I did everything, like, legit. Like, I had my ship off date and all that. Like, I was ready to go. I was like, yeah, like, this is what I'm gonna do in my life. And like, it didn't turn out to be like that. A week before I was supposed to get shipped off, I actually, like I said, I was in a position where basically, like I said, if I went, there was a big chance I wasn't gonna see Layla again. You know, Layla um, was in that picture where I probably wasn't gonna see her ever again. And to me, I thought it was better because I was gonna be able to provide a future for her. But it just didn't work out with me and my baby mama. It didn't work out like that at the time. So for me, yeah, like a week before I was supposed to get shipped off to the Air Force, I was like I just was like I'm not down no more. Like, and I couldn't get out of it because I swore in. I like already like did
So he
everything.
failed all his classes.
Yeah, I did everything I could, so there was no way out of it. But the only way that I found out like that I could that I could get disqualified at the time was not graduate. So I was like, cool, like that's easy. Like, so I started like I just failed like my last like the last quarter of it. So I didn't really pass all my classes, and I didn't have the credits to graduate, and I was cool with it, and I left it like that. I left high school, and I didn't go to the Air Force. But man, after when I was 17, it was like a 7 year journey before I came back to freedom. What did I say, seven? Let me see. Yeah, 7 years. Yeah. So I left the church at 17, and those 7 years, dang, like those are like some crazy years because that's where I learned a lot. Like I was homeless, like for like a minute. Like I remember getting kicked out, and yeah, like it wasn't cool. Like living on the streets, like I mean, like I said, living on the streets is not cool, but it was a to me, I'm grateful for that experience because I have a heart for the people. You know, I have a heart for those people who are out there, and
Are we leaving this part in?
yeah, I just know what it feels like to have like to have nothing, and then you know like God just restoring everything back. Like I said, being homeless was like I said a crazy experience, but I'm grateful for it. And yeah, I mean through that, like I said, I ran in. I would hang around with the wrong crowd. I would put myself in dangerous positions. I like I said, I never was a gang member myself, but I knew a lot of friends and like people around me who were involved. So with that, like I said, I always put myself in their positions. Um, like I said, that's where I started trying heavy drugs. I got into meth. Meth was whack. I only did it for like a month, but it was like it was for sure. Like I said, I was it was super whack. I don't know. I'd never recommend any drug to anybody, but meth was whack, and it was like it was just a long seven journey. Like I said, from dealing with hard, heavy drugs to hanging around with the wrong crowd to being in like dangerous situations. I remember like I used to always drive because I never used to drink. So that's one thing I never done. I never drank. Like not that I never drank, but drinking was like you'll never see me drinking a beer. I never drank a beer ever actually, and like alcohol was like nah. I probably don't even like remember like liking it, but I know that I used to always be the designated driver for all my friends. So like every time we go out to parties and stuff, like I would drive. Anytime like we would go like on missions to the shop, like we would go to LA and we would go and I would drive out there. I would drive all my friends' cars. But yeah, I was always the designated driver. But I remember like a couple times, like I swear, like I almost like lost my life because like they were yeah, like I said, like they were just with the rivals and stuff we went to go pull up on them because something happened. But I was a driver, and I remember like going, and then next thing you know, it turned out to like a shootout, and it was like Fast and the Furious. Like I was like driving in reverse, and then they were just like go go go, and we were just taking off, and yeah, it was just crazy. Some crazy stories that like that I've done with those people. And one thing that really separated myself from them was they would always they would always tell me, they would be like, "Hey Jimmy, dog, like just know like we don't know what it is, but you're different. Like you carry something. Like every time we see you, we love being around you. Like you bring joy, you bring happiness." And that's one thing God's always given me is like a joyful spirit, always joking around. Like I could crack jokes for days, and people will like they love my presence because like I'm funny, and they would always tell me, and like I would be like, yeah, like I didn't believe it because with them, like I said, I used to live with them. I used to live in a car, and yeah, they took me in, so I was just like, nah, like I'm cool here. Like I didn't really understood what that meant, and then later in my life, like I said, through this process, like with Layla, I don't have her. She's like in and out of my life. I see her like once a month, like maybe like once every 2 months. Like I didn't really see her too much, but she um yeah, I would barely like I had to go for a custody case, and like everything's good now, but it was just a long process, a lot I was going through, and that's why like I really jumped into that hardcore lifestyle just so I could just keep my mind off of everything. And yeah, I mean from there, I like there was just one time where I just decided I was like, all right, like I'm done living with them. I don't want to live in a car no more. Like it's kind of whack. I did it for like 2 years, and then I decided I was like, man, I'm gonna go back to. I'm gonna like I got a good. That's when my relationship restored with my mom, and everything was good. And then I went to go live back with her, and yeah, I lived with her for like a good minute, like three years. I lived with her, and then from those 3 years, like I said, this is where things started to get like, this is where like my mental health started to kick in, depression, like all that stuff started was like starting to rise because yeah, I was just tired. Like I was tired of just everything. Like everything was just so overwhelming. Um and yeah, I stayed with my mom for a while. I worked. Like all I would do was work and then hang out, work and hang out. And this is where I'm starting to see Layla more.
You forgot to mention your smoking thing.
Well, my weed.
Yeah, you have to talk about that.
Yeah, I always smoked weed since I was 2, since I came out the womb.
No,
I'm just
okay.
kidding.
This whole
I'm just kidding.
process, he was a big pothead, just so you guys know.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
forgot to mention like the biggest part of his testimony.
yeah. Well, it was whack. So yeah, I used to be like a dab head. I used to dab it all the time. They called me Dabzilla or Dabosaurus Rex. No, I'm just kidding. I only called myself that. But yeah. So throughout this whole time, like I said, like yeah, I was always a dabber. Like I used to dab it left and right. I'll be down to smoke a blunt
Tell
any
them what
day.
that means. They're gonna think you're talking about the dads. He's used to smoke wax, and
Yeah, yeah.
so they're
So
called dabs. Just so you guys know, he wasn't doing the dance.
yeah, no, I wasn't doing the Fortnite dance, which will be right here. But yeah, and then in that, like I said, this is where, like I said, it just everything became an all time high, and yeah, like so this is like this one point in my life, this is where my whole life turned around. So I knew that I needed something, that there was something missing, and I knew it was God because I even started to search for churches around me, and I would go to churches around me, and they weren't like I wouldn't like them. I'd be like, nah, like I didn't feel nothing there. I didn't feel like welcomed, and it was nothing against the churches. It was probably me too. Like I wasn't an open heart, but I knew it was God though too because God like so like freedom came up to my head, and I was like, nah, I'm not going back to freedom. Like I was there younger, and the devil will lie to me, and he'll be like, he'll be like, oh, like everyone's gonna judge you, everyone you know, like that you knew is gonna see you and they're gonna be like, what the heck, where were you? And that's what I thought. Like the devil would lie to me, so I kept me away from freedom. And I was searching and searching and I couldn't find anything. And then like I hit rock bottom. So rock bottom came like fast too. It was like, so for my rock bottom, I know that. So first, like I said, like the girl I was dating at the time, like I said, we were in a long term relationship. Like we had broken up at the time, and yeah, we separated. And then, like I said, and then Layla too. Like I wasn't seeing her for like a good minute. Like it was, she wasn't like really coming over as much as I wanted her to. And then, like I said, the icing on top was like one day I came home from work and I was playing Fortnite, and my mom, like, she got mad at me because like she just didn't like Fortnite. Love you, mom, but yeah, she kicked me out because we got in a fight, and it was my fault because, like I said, I was like talking back, I was being rebellious. Like I was like if I ran the house and I paid all the bills, I was like, "What do you mean I can't play my game? I'm a grown man," and da da da. And we got into it, and then she's just like, just you don't have to be here. Like you could pack your stuff and go. And I took it as a kick out, but maybe I just walked out as well too. But it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me because what happens next is where my whole life turned around. Like, so I got kicked out, and then when I got kicked out, like I packed all my stuff and I dipped and I went in my car. First thing I did was take a fat dab. I was like, and then take that dab, and then I was just chilling, like I said, in my car. I was super, super, super sad. Like I was crying my eyeballs out. Like I never cried like that ever. And I remember, I was sitting in my car, and then yeah, I was sitting in my car, and it was. I remember like it was a Saturday night, and like I said, like I was just chilling, and then at this time and in this moment, in this exact moment, like I'm like contemplating like to kill myself. I'm like, it doesn't matter no more. Like it's just no one will care. That's what I felt, And that's the danger of depression. It makes you feel things and think things that you don't want to go through. And like I fell into that dark place, and I was ready. Like I was ready. Like I planned it out. I was ready just to give it all up and to be. And I was like, I'm tired. Like I'm tired of this. I'm tired of everything. And then I remember, like I said, Saturday night. It was like a day before church. Like my brother called me, and mind you not, like my brother, like I didn't really have like a close relationship with him. I wasn't texting him like, hey, what's up, bro? Like we had very limited contact, and he goes to Freedom. He's a pastor at Freedom, and he at the time he wasn't, but he reached out to me, and like he called me, and then I remember like I was like, hello, like who's this? Like I don't even have your number saved. Like who's this? And he's like, it's your brother, and I was like, which one? 'Cause I got a bunch of brothers, and then he was like, Philip. And then I was like, all right. And I was like, what's up? Like, and he just checked in on me. He was just like checking in on me. He was all like, he's like, how you doing? Like, what you been up to? And da da da. And I was like, and sometimes all it takes is for someone to check in on you. And because when someone feels alone, it's like, it sucks. And I remember like he was just checking in on me. And I told him everything. I told him what I was going through. I told him how I felt. And I told him I was just done. And he told me, he's like, where you at? And I said, I'm chilling in my car. And he said, come to my house. And I went, and my life's never been the same. He opened up the doors for me. He helped me get on my feet. And I know God used him, but I'm grateful for him. And he really, like I said, he's someone I look up to a lot. And I just know that for myself, if there's one thing I could do, it's help someone else out. Someone did it for me, and I want to do it for someone else. I don't want I don't want anyone to ever have to go through that. But at the end of the day, like it was all God. It was all God that moved in it. It was God that like breathed on it. He knew what was gonna happen. He had like my plans laid out, and he made all those plans come together. And when I came back, like I said, all I would hear was like the like when I started reading the Bible again, like I just kept reading like the prodigal son, like that's what it was. Like I came home and it was open arms. Yeah, when I went to Freedom the next day, because it was a Saturday night, like I said, it was a deep conversation, and he just asked me, do I want to change? And I said, yeah, I do. And yeah, so the next day I went to Freedom. I had to face that fear. That was a big fear because I was like tripping, and then I did see people that I used to knew when I was younger, and it was all love. Like it was all like oh like what's up, like like it was all love. It was opposite of what my mind would tell me. Like oh excuse me, it was the opposite of what my mind would tell me on what was gonna happen, what the outcome was gonna be. So I know that from there, like I said, that's when a lot of things broke. But even with my journey through like freedom, like I said, I came on, and like I said, I still struggled here and there. Actually, I was good for like 6 months. I didn't smoke, but then like it started to come on, and then it jumped on me again. But I just like God delivered me from that through LOF, Lifestyle of Freedom, and just everything the process that I went through going in the training center to doing Bible college, FISM, the whole process like made me to who I am now. And like I said, I'm not the same. Like I said, I always remember where I came from, but I'll never stop doing what God wants me to do, and that's to help people. Like I love the young youth, like because I relate well because at a young age I fell in love with God, and that's where that's where everything happened. Like that's where a lot of my life changed. So yeah, I love the youth. I mean, I love everybody. Like I said, I tell God to send me whoever He needs me to send. And yeah, I have a men's Bible group every Thursday. Um, so yeah, with that, like I said, on Thursdays I get to help men out who want to come out, or young men that want to grow and learn more about God, and I give that to them. And I also offer, like I said, my time with people. But yeah, I mean, just helping out people is all that I ever want to do for God, and to serve Him and to go after Him.
Yeah, he's a leader now in the house of God, ministry, and a husband, the best husband, actually. And yeah, his story is powerful.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I just my advice too for anyone who's watching too is like don't feel like you're alone. You're on this channel for a reason. God sent you for a reason. And God uses us and our testimonies to help people who are struggling, are looking for help, are looking for another way to get better. That's what we're here for. We're here for that. Like I said, I have my men's group. She has her women's group. So we work together. I give her, like, I'll send her women that with men that come my way, and I just send them her way. So, I mean, that's always something that's available for our end.
Yeah, and something that's similar in our testimony is that we both got planted at a church, and that's when the deliverance process really started, and we both were discipled by people. So he was discipled by his brother, and now his leader now, and I was discipled by Alicia, and then I'm being discipled by someone else right now. But that's one thing for sure that I think you can take away from this is that maybe you're not near, freedom, which is fine, but you need to find a church to be planted in, and a church that offers discipleship, or just people that actually want to help you and actually want to see you change, actually want to see you delivered. So when you're looking for a church or somewhere to get planted, I would say look somewhere where the testimonies the testimonies are people are getting set free like he did, how I did. I know if I didn't go to the house of God, I would not be where I am now and I would have not made it. And I really needed people to be intentional in my life, like a mentor, I guess is another word for it as well. So, yeah, I think that's like a huge takeaway. And even his process of getting delivered from smoking, that was, you were in the church what, like 7 months, right? Until you
Yeah.
till you stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if it's not happening overnight, don't lose hope. And yeah, if you're ever just, going through it, just know you're not alone, and God sees you and God hears you and God has a plan for you. God had a plan for him. God has God has amazing plans for you, and oh my gosh, I spit. God has amazing plans for you, and just don't ever lose hope, and don't think that it's impossible to change, because when I look at my old self, I would never think that I would be here. I don't know if you when he looks at his old self, I don't think, you know,
Yeah.
he would see himself here. So God doesn't care about what you've done or what you're going through. God, if you catch your fire for God and you serve him and you go after him, God will change your whole life and deliver you. And there's no finish line either. We it's like a never-ending process. God is always delivering us from those deep roots that we have in our hearts, and it's for sure never ending. So don't think there's like a arrival point or anything. God always deals with us in different areas, and yeah.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching Faith with Vivian.
And Faith with Jimmy. Should we name this channel Faith with Jimmy? And also, should we call this Testimonies with Vivian, or what should I call this? I'm thinking Testimonies with Vivian. But we will be bringing on more people, and there'll probably be more than one camera shot, right?
Yeah. And then if you guys want to share your testimony and you guys want to schedule, just reach out to us and we'll get back to you. Like I said, we'll have like info in the bio on how to reach out or how to contact us.
Yeah.
So yeah, with that, I mean,
Yeah, and I would love to do some out of state ones, even if you're not near me. Maybe we could do like I don't know,
Zoom.
figure something out, because I want to share with people just really good churches. If you go to a really good church and you got delivered and set free at your church, I would love to share that testimony with people just so more people could get set free and delivered. All right, guys. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the first testimony. There's a lot more to his testimony. And then if you guys want to hear more about how him and I came to be, there's already a video on that. So I'll link that down below since the testimony is already pretty long. But that's going to be it. We'll see you guys in the next video. And yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out.